Welcome back to the Sachenring, everybody. It's round 2 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, and we are about to commence race 3 of the weekend. We've already seen a winner piece for Larry Tenforder and Dylan Pereira, and Larry Tenforder has extended his championship lead by some 16 points as a result of it. We've had 2 very exciting races, and we are getting ready in this most unusual season for the 3rd race of the weekend. We started off in Le Mans in the middle of September, and then our 2nd race of the season was the first for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany on its own, without Porsche Carrera Cup France accompanying it, and that was yesterday. And that was the race that was won by Dylan Pereira. And then this morning we had our 3rd race of the season here at the Sachenring, and that was won by Larry Tenforder. This is normally the venue for the season closer for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, but because of these COVID-affected times that we are in, it's a heavily revised season. But we're pleased to say we're hoping to bring you 11 races this season, and this round 2 is about to get going with a 3rd race, so squeezing 3 races into a weekend, something that we don't normally do, but that's going to happen next time out as well, because we head to the Red Bull Ring on the 16th to the 18th of October for 3 races then, and then another 2 at Zandvoort on the 30th of October to the 1st of November, and then Oschersleben for the season closer on the 6th to the 8th of November. So Larry Tenforder has extended his lead at the top of the points championship. Dylan Pereira jumped up into 2nd. He's 16 points behind, and Leon Kohler in 3rd with 44 points. We've also had a change in the team championship, with Falk Racing overtaking Nebulous Racing by Huber and leading the championship, but only by 3 points. Our rookie championship sees Diego Bertinelli at the top of the points, with Julian Hanses just behind, and Bertinelli leads 10 points ahead of Julian Hanses as we see the grid rolling again, and it's the same protagonists at the front of the grid. It's Dylan Pereira this time on pole position, and Larry Tenforder alongside. It's the formation lap, and this is critical for the drivers to get heat into the tyres and get themselves up to speed. So Dylan Pereira won the 1st race yesterday, and it was Larry Tenforder who led, but the setup on the car was not ideal. The tyres went off, and Dylan Pereira was able to reel him in and overtake him. So Larry Tenforder qualifying 2nd for this race, and if he wants to extend that championship lead, he needs to jump in front of Dylan Pereira. There you can see Leon Kohler and Lauren Heinrich make up row 2 with Julian Hanses and Rudy van Buren, who picked up a penalty in the last race. Diego Bertinelli leading the rookie championship with Tony Wolff alongside on row 4. Row 5 of the grid, which should pop up any second, Lucas Ertl and Joey Mawson, who was having a lively time of it in the last race, taking out a billboard and generally having a lot of fun in his Porsche 911. And then row 6 made up of Kevin Berlo and Carlos Rivas, who leads the Pro-Am category. Row 7, Felix Neuhofer, another spinner in the last race, and Matthias Jeserik in the number 10 car. Then Stefan Raykopf and Georgi Donchev making up the back row of the grid. So we are at the Sachenring. It is a 3.671 kilometre track that equates to 2.281 miles with 14 turns, 4 to the right, 10 to the left. Lots of undulation on this track, a gradient change of 12.8% at the steepest point. And what is most unusual about this is that the cars are running anti-clockwise. Some very fast corners and some very blind corners too. So a bit unusual for some of these drivers, but very, very entertaining so far this weekend. And we've really enjoyed watching the Porsche Carrera Cup here. So the cars now just making their way into their correct grid slots, and very, very shortly we will be about to go racing. And Dylan Pereira will be looking to get into turn 1 first, and Larry Tenforder will be looking to stop him. The green flag waves at the back to indicate that all is well, and a very short hold on the red lights, and there goes Dylan Pereira cutting across. The race is underway, half an hour of action ahead of us, and it's Dylan Pereira who leads Larry Tenforder into turn one. The sun is low, and you can see the silhouettes of the cars as we set off. Leon Kohler, who picked up a penalty in the last race for moving in the pit box on the starting grid and lost himself a podium as Lucas Oertel goes spinning into the Castrol Omega corner. You can see his arms raised in the air. Now, if that car is beached, we may well end up with an early safety car. So we'll keep an eye on that. The rest of the field comes streaming through, but Lucas Oertel, and it really does look as though he is going nowhere. He was started 9th on the grid, and I would expect that if that car is beached, we will almost certainly have a safety car, and he will be incredibly frustrated. His race is over barely before it started. Half an hour of racing ahead of us, and it seems likely the start of it is going to be behind the safety car. And here comes that Porsche safety car. It's going to pick up Dylan Pereira. And we'll hopefully have a replay and see what happened to Lucas Oertel. So Dylan Pereira leading the way from Larry Tenforder. And Dylan Pereira looking to extend that team championship lead. The Fork Racing team having got to the top of the point standings. Hello there. This bunch of marshals done a great job all weekend. Such enthusiasm and passion for motorsport. And nice to see them waving at the cameras. You can see how low the sun is. It's quite a late race in the afternoon. And lots of silhouettes. We're riding on board with Lucas Oertel now in a replay. Let's see what happened. He takes a wide line into turn one, and that's Joey Mawson muscling through, so he gets through okay. Lucas Oertel coming back on the inside of two. There's a car on the outside, and that car soon is on the inside, and that looked very much like Kay van Berlo. We will see again shortly. And we can see that Van Berlo just gets into the Lucas Oertel car, does very well to keep himself out the gravel trap. The question is did Lucas Oertel cut across, or did Van Berlo get very optimistic with that move? Of course, the first lap is your best opportunity to make up places, and a lot of the drivers quite keen to do that in the early stages of the race, but you can lose so much, and Lucas Oertel has lost himself an afternoon of Porsche Carrera Cup Germany racing as he is stranded on the outside of turn four. Looking at another replay here, and you're looking back at Joey Mawson, so that'll be the perspective from Larry Tenforder possibly, but you can see, no, it's further back than that, but you can see the car's going spinning, and that car is well and truly beached, and let's scoop some of the gravel out before it drags it all onto the track. That is very deep gravel, does what it's meant to do, and that's to stop the car from making contact with the fence, and very effective it is indeed. So it looks like Lucas Oertel hasn't got any damage, but he will probably retire back to the pit lane now, and his afternoon will be over. So such a shame to see the number 17 car, T3 HRT Motorsport, operate that car, and of course they are the local team. They are from just down the road in Chemnitz, and they were hoping for better things for Lucas Oertel. So he won't be improving on the 10th place and the 8th place that he has scored already this weekend. And you can see the frustration, and it must be so frustrating. It's the last race of the weekend, and he would have been sat around waiting all day for this race to start. He pulls the seat back and thoroughly fed up with everything that has been going on. You can see the field following the safety car round in one big snake. We're just keeping our eyes on the timing screens. The incident is under investigation between Kay van Berlo and Lucas Oertel, and we'll let you know if there is any further issue with that. Kay van Berlo currently showing in 15th place, so he is stone last anyway as a result of that, and his afternoon of progress is almost certainly going to be over as well, in terms of certainly challenging the front runners. At the time of the safety car, our leader was Dylan Pereira. He made that jump off pole position, cut across in front of Larry Tenforder, Leon Kohler wants to hold on to his third position this time rather than lose it to the stewards. And Julian Hanses in P4 as the leading rookie. Leading Pro-Am driver is in 10th place, and that's Carlos Rivas, who is racing for Black Falcon Team Techstar. So safety car is in on this lap. You can see he disappears into the distance, and Dylan Pereira wants to catch Larry Tenforder napping if he can, but Larry Tenforder is almost pushing him round the corner. He's so keen to stay with him because this is a big opportunity coming out of turn 14 to receive the green flag. We are racing again, and Larry Tenforder looks one side and then ducks back in again, and you can see Pereira moving over to the racing line to block him off, and Larry Tenforder not tempted to duck back to the inside and try and take the inside line into the corner. So it's Pereira who leads the way, and the rest of the field comes streaming through. This time they all make it around turn 1, which is great news for all of us. And it's Leo Kohler in P3. So the 96 car of Joey Mawson just came through your screen there. And here come the rest of them. And Diego Bertinelli, of course, is running just ahead of Joey Mawson, and Diego Bertinelli has really been impressing here in the Porsche Carrera Cup at Germany. We're just looking at our timing screens as Matthias Jeserik goes really wide out of the corner, picks up a bit of dirt. That's heading up towards turns 10 and 11, and he keeps it on the track. That would have been quite a bumpy ride for him, and his tyres will be all full of dirt and gravel now, so grip will be at a premium. Down the part of the track, which is the 12.8% descent that is nicknamed the Waterfall, and the number 25 of number 12 of Kay van Berlo is already looking to make progress as he challenges Felix Neuhofer and tries to move from stone last on the grid. 23 minutes of this race remaining, and Larry Tenforder is putting in purple times up at the front of the field, and he's in second place, but closing in on Dylan Pereira. Diego Bertinelli and Joey Mawson continue their battle, and Joey Mawson finding a way past Bertinelli and into P7. So there comes Mawson, there comes Bertinelli, and those two drivers both racing for FAC Autotech, teammates by name only, I would suggest, and very keen to beat each other as another car goes wide. That's Lauren Heinrich going wide out of the corner, and with the sun quite low in the sky and some quite big gradients, a lot of these drivers are catching the sunshine in their eyes and reflecting off the track as they go up the hills. And we've got two sections of this track which are completely blind as you come round the corner. The sun added to that really makes for some exciting racing. So Dylan Pereira has responded to Larry Tenforder's couple of purple sectors, and he is quickest of anybody in sector 1 on this last lap, but not so in sector 2. So the lead duo definitely staying with each other. You can see on your timing screens it's 0.5 of a second as Stefan Raykopf and Georgi Donchev do a little bit of panel rubbing, and they race side by side along the pit straight into turn 1. And through they come, and Raykopf on the outside is not going to have that line into the corner, so it goes the way of Georgi Donchev, but they are scrapping over the minor position. So you can see Raykopf goes quite wide out of the corner and tries to turn in, and Georgi Donchev comes through but lets through the 28 and the 10 as well. So that's Matthias Jeserik and Felix Neuhofer who comes through as a result of that contact. And Raykopf was certainly very wide going into that corner, tried to turn in, and then Donchev said, no, you're not coming through, as we look at a replay of that. So here we come, 10 minutes of the race done, another 20 minutes to go. The leaders come down the waterfall, and it's Dylan Pereira who leads the way, looking for his second ever win in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. And you look at the amount of success that Dylan Pereira has had in Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, and it is amazing to think that he had yet to score his first victory until yesterday in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. You can see the cars look absolutely beautiful in the evening sun here at the Sachenring. And conditions perfect on this very autumnal afternoon to round off what has been an excellent weekend of racing here. So the incidents between cars 17 and 12 has been declared as no further action. So that was the Lucas Ertel and Kay van Berlo incident that brought out the safety car early on. Now the incident that we also saw between Georgi Donchev and Stefan Raykopf is under investigation by the stewards. So we'll let you know if there's any news on that. Down they come towards turn 8. Another steep part of the track, and there's Stefan Raykopf in the very pretty orange and white Porsche. Stefan Raykopf, something of a veteran here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. It's Diego Bertinelli who leads the rookie standings. No, it isn't. It's Julian Hansis in P4 who leads the rookie standings, and Carlos Rivas who leads the Pro-Am standings. And Carlos Rivas is back in P10 at the moment. He's having his own battle with Matthias Jeserik just a couple of places behind him. Our focus, though, is on the lead battle. Dylan Pereira leads Larry Tenvoorde by 0.466. That's not a great deal. And the one thing we have seen is tyre degradation being an issue as Kay van Berlo moves to the inside of Carlos Rivas. And Kay van Berlo is through. Carlos Rivas in P10 and now in P11. And another look at Felix Neuhofer doing a little bit of rallycross, hooking out a bit of the gravel and chucking it all across turn 14. A little treat for anyone who happens to be following behind. So the very distinctive car of Felix Neuhofer looks to be in trouble, and he is. He's got a puncture, so a flat tyre for the number 28 car. He's going to have to come into the pits. So the issues that we saw with him bring his race to a premature end, and in fact he doesn't even bother trying to get to the pits. He pulls it off to the side, says enough is enough, and Felix Neuhofer comes to a stop, the young talent pool driver who's been encouraged by Porsche, and his race is now over. So tyre degradation has been an issue here at this circuit and continues to be so. And what we saw in race 1 yesterday as another little bit of off-roading by Diego Bertinelli, and that opens the door for him to be passed. And it's Tony Wolff who looks to the outside. So Diego Bertinelli just holding on to that spot. He's got the racing line into the corner as he shuts the door in front of Tony Wolff. And round turn 4, which is a Castrol Omega turn, Diego Bertinelli, who is currently showing in P8, and our third highest rookie, and Tony Wolff is wolfing away at his back bumper, looking to get past. So yes, we mentioned, as we look at a replay here, you can see Bertinelli coming out of turn 14. He gets on the power over the curbing onto the green bit. You see the sparks and the flames coming from underneath the car as it bottoms out on the curbing. So quite spectacular, and certainly not the quickest way around this circuit. And that gravel getting thrown everywhere. And he did very well just to keep the thing pointing in the right direction as the car was kind of bucking around all over the place. Tyre degradation is what we're going to actually talk about. Certainly an issue here, and what we saw yesterday was Larry Tenvoorde opening up a very big lead, and then eventually that lead getting whittled away by Dylan Pereira because the tyres went off. And so just because he's leading the way at this point, Dylan Pereira does not by any means have it in the bag, and it's very much about tyre preservation as well as just keeping the thing on the track. You're looking at the number 9 of Diego Bertinelli once again under pressure from Tony Wolff, and Tony Wolff will be quite keen to pressure him into another mistake and see if he can sneak past and steal that place away from him. It's still in P8 that Diego Bertinelli is lurking, and in P9 for Tony Wolff. So down the hill we come towards turn 8, and along a very short little stretch, full throttle and under the bridge, and side by side again. And this time, Tony Wolff comes sailing through, and Diego Bertinelli is relegated a position. So Tony Wolff, I don't know whether Bertinelli made any kind of mistake, but Wolff was certainly through, and Bertinelli does look to be struggling a little bit. Now, whether his tyres have gone off or whether he has got an issue as a result of bouncing over the curbs, but now Bertinelli is falling into the clutches of Kay van Berlo, and he's doing that at a rate of knots. So 8 tenths is the lead, as you can see from your screens, and that is Dylan Pereira from Larry Tenforda, Leon Kohler. A solid and fairly quiet third place at the moment, and quiet is probably what he's looking for after his encounter with the stewards earlier on this morning. So in the setting sun, it's race 3 of Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at the Sachenring. We're racing anti-clockwise, a whole different discipline for these drivers. And it's race 4 of an 11-race season as we ride on board with our leader, Dylan Pereira, with Larry Tenforda keeping him well in sight. And there's Leon Kohler. And Julian Hanses, teammate to Dylan Pereira in the Fork Racing Porsche in P4, with Lauren Heinrich looking to improve on his showing in the last race, and doing so at the moment in P5. And Julian Hanses is our leading rookie, and Carlos Rivas continues to be our leading Pro-Am driver in P11. So up to turn 14 they come, and a good opportunity to line up a driver for an overtake on into the next corner, as what we've seen is drivers trying to pull to the outside into turn 14 and to hold that position along the pit straight, and that of course gives them the line into turn 1 to take a position away. But of course you've got to be able to pull alongside, and these Porsche 911s, they're 4-litre flat 6 boxer engines, rear mounted, naturally aspirated, producing about 485 brake horsepower, and they are all very, very equal as Diego Bertinelli decides that enough is enough and pulls it into the pit lane. Clearly, that little bit of aerobatics coming out of turn 14 has done something to the car, a bit of damage, and in he comes into the pit lane. I'm told that the Porsche 911 is normally fairly forgiving over the curbs, but that little bit of low flying has clearly done something that has affected his car. So it didn't look like he had a puncture. We can see the team are on standby with a spare wheel, so maybe he had a flat tyre as a result of that. They're looking at the right rear, and that does still look inflated to me. Maybe it's flat spotted, or maybe it was a slow puncture. But anyway, Bertinelli receiving a new right rear, and he will rejoin this at the very back of the field. We've lost Lucas Ertl as a result of that incident earlier on, but apart from that, everyone else is running. And that is the Joey Mawson car. We ride with him, and we can see the view from his car, and we look ahead at Rudy van Buren, who is in the Cartech Motorsport by Nigrin, and he is in 6th place. So on board with Joey Mawson, you can see the sun reflecting off the track, and some great autumnal racing from these drivers. We've got a little over 10 minutes left of this race, so we're about 2/3 of the way through, and Dylan Pereira is holding his lead. He hasn't pulled away particularly. It's still about 8 tenths of a second from Larry Tenforda, and Leon Kohler about a second behind him in 3rd place. So 3rd place in the last race was Diego Bertinelli, and he inherited that as a result of Leon Kohler's penalty that was incurred for moving on the grid before the green lights came on. But Bertinelli is almost certainly not going to be enjoying any time on the podium after this race. He has rejoined the race though. He's a lap down, and Still points to be earned though, so every lap and every place counts as we look at Joey Mawson just getting a little bit late into the corner, under braking. Joey Mawson still in 7th place, Rudy Van Buren ahead of him in P6. And Mawson is showing us 0.8 of a second down as they head up to complete another sector of the lap. And that looks like we're back down again to turn 8 and along the little flat bit, one of the few flat bits of this circuit, under the bridge, and then up the hill towards turn 9. And you can see Joey Mawson just sliding it round the corner. Great car control. Joey Mawson, a real asset to Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. So good to see him here, part of this series this year. And he was the ADAC Formula 4 champion back in 2016. And he's also had some time in Formula 3, in GP3, and in Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup last year. And the young Australian now in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany and flexing his muscles here. We look across at our race leader, that's Dylan Pereira. And he continues on his way. 0.7 of a second ahead of this man, Larry Tenforder. So Larry Tenforder taking about 1/10 out of it, but Pereira picking up a bit of dirt. That will lose him a teeny bit of traction, but he continues on his way. And that's the view of Larry Tenforder. He's leading the championship at the moment by 16 points. And if things stay as they are, he will continue to lead the championship. But Dylan Pereira, after a fairly rubbish time at Le Mans by his standards, is trying to claw back a championship standing that got him off on the wrong foot following his time in France. So Larry Tenforder looking at the back of Dylan Pereira. Is he going to try the very thing that Dylan Pereira did to him in race 1 yesterday? And if you remember, as we mentioned before, it was Tenforder who had the lead and was being pressured by Dylan Pereira until the tyres went off and Pereira sailed past to take the win. And Larry Tenforder really looking to do the same, but with less than 8 minutes of this race remaining, that is quite a tall order. There's Carlos Rivas, and he is our leading Pro-Am driver, and he's lying in 10th place. Behind him is Matthias Jeserik, and Matthias is about 6.7 seconds behind, and he is his nearest challenger in the Pro-Am category. You just saw him there coming round the corner. So Carlos Rivas really having a relatively lonely race out on his own, and continuing to lead in the Pro-Am category, and looking to extend his lead at the top of the Pro-Am championship table as well. So here comes Carlos Rivas, very much on his own as he heads down the straight in the evening sun here at the Sachenring. So Carlos Rivas, who started down in P12 and is up to P10. So a good solid race from him as he comes around the Castrol Omega turn, something that is almost a hairpin, and then it's back up the hill towards turn 5 and up over a blind crest to the hill, and your eyes just looking up at the sun, and then is back down again towards turn 8, and then onto a very short shoot, full throttle down towards turn 9 under the bridge, and then back up again as he heads towards turn 10. And you can see all the marbles on the side of the track, rubber that has been peeled off the tyres as they race around here, not just from the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, but also from the other formulas that have been racing here over this weekend. So as the sun gets lower and the cars turn into silhouettes, it's Dylan Pereira who leads the 3rd race here at the Sachsenring this weekend. You had a quick flash of his teammate there. Larry Tenforder has dropped back a couple of tenths and into the clutches of Leon Kohler. So Leon Kohler putting a bit of heat on our championship leader. And Larry Tenforder, after his great display at Le Mans and his great qualifying for the first race here at Sachsenring, looked like he was going to be on a bit of a steamroller throughout this season, but people like Leon Kohler really keeping him honest as we look down on a replay of Carlos Rivas. And you can see the line that he's taking And down the waterfall, that steep drop in towards 13, heavy on the brakes. And coming down that straight at that kind of speed, you can imagine your stomach probably feels like it's in the top of your head. These drivers love this circuit, and you can see why. It's a circuit that is normally associated with motorbike racing, but very good for four-wheeled racing as well. Here come the leaders over the crest of the hill and down towards turn 1. Dylan Pereira, his lead is 9/10 of a second. Leon Kohler, 8/10 of a second behind Larry Tenforder. So Tenforder looks like he's going backwards a little bit. You saw the car just sliding a little bit in that corner, and you do wonder whether he's got issues with his tyres once again. And there's the Dylan Pereira's teammate, the number 81 being driven by Julian Hanses. And he is our leading rookie in P4. And he's got another rookie behind him, that's Lauren Heinrich. But looking pretty comfortable out there is Julian Hanses. And Lauren Heinrich is showing as 3.3 seconds behind. So Leon Kohler looks to be the man on the move at the moment as he closes in. And we're just keeping an eye on Julian Hanses to see what progress he's making on Leon Kohler. It's 1.5 seconds the last time around. And we'll see if that gap has increased or decreased when they cross the timing beam, which will be very shortly. This is the penultimate corner of the circuit. And then it's up the hill towards turn 14, the final corner, which has seen so much drama. So 1.5 seconds was the gap between Hanses and Kohler last time around. Here we come now, and it's 1.7. So Leon Kohler is not allowing Julian Hanses to close in on him. And still holding on to that third place. Now very much hounding the back end of Larry Tenforder. And Dylan Pereira will be very pleased about that, because as long as Larry Tenforder is having to defend, then that gives him the chance to get away. You can see the conditions have been perfect here all weekend. We haven't had any rain. It's been sunny, it's been fairly warm, and we've been treated to 3 great races from the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. We're riding on board with Rudy Van Buren. This is a replay coming out of turn 14, and another one who goes wide onto the gravel, and something that quite a few drivers have done, and he keeps his foot planted in it, even on the grass. And whoever said these guys weren't fearless really didn't know what they were on about, because keeping your foot on it at those kind of speeds on the grass, and nice bit of drifting coming out of the corner there. So there's the leader. You can see the gap. And Dylan Pereira appears to be stretching his legs. It was 8/10 of a second last time around. Let's see what it is as he crosses the timing line this time around. And he's opened it up to over a second, 1.1. And Leon Kohler has taken 3/10 out of Larry Tenforder. So anybody who thought Larry Tenforder was going to get it all his own way was very much mistaken, because now his second place is very much under threat from Leon Kohler, who is closing up. But it is a clever and wily driver who gets past Larry Tenforder in the closing stages of a race. And I'm sure that that number 25 Porsche is going to be the widest Porsche on the track, because Larry Tenforder will not be keen to let Leon Kohler past, and will be driving quite defensively. It doesn't look like he's got anything that he can take to Dylan Pereira, though, does it? As he falls back into the clutches of Leon Kohler. And Julian Hanses has closed up a bit, 1.6 seconds behind Leon Kohler. So Julian Hanses hasn't given up either. Our leading rookie, who has broken away from Lauren Heinrich and left him 4 seconds back down the road. So down the waterfall one more time. Quite a short lap here at the Sachenring. They appear to be spending their lives coming down this part of the track. And there is third place, Leon Kohler. Less than a minute left of this race. It's absolutely flown past. And the 1, 2, 3, 4, there they are coming through your picture. Up the hill, back on to the pit straight. And you can see the amount of gravel that's been dragged out by all the cars that have been doing a bit of rallycross out of turn 14. And Pereira is keeping the gap at just under a second, which is probably enough to get the job done. Larry Tenforder really got nothing to offer. The tyres are getting very tired. The drivers are getting very tired as well. Half an hour Driving a Porsche 911 around this circuit is very hard work. And there come our 1, 2, 3, 4 through the shot. And we look at Larry Tenforder in the nebulous racing by Huber car. And Dylan Pereira for Fourth Racing is going to extend that championship lead for the team, and is going to be closing in on the lead in the championship that Larry Tenforder has for the Drivers' Championship as well. In the Rookies' Championship, Diego Bertinelli is going to score minimal, if nothing much at all. And second place, who is 10 points behind in the championship, Julian Hanses, is looking good with a P4 on the track and leading rookie. So keep an eye on the points tables after this race, because it is going to be all to play for. The clock has struck 0. We're on to the +1 lap. And Dylan Pereira leads the field across the line. 1.169 seconds is the lead over Larry Tenforder. Tenforder really has nothing now to offer. We're in to turn 2 for the final time and heading down towards the Castrol Omega turn. And around this corner and back up the hill for the final time. Dylan Pereira leading the way. Larry Tenforder with Leon Kohler snapping at his heels, but doesn't look as though Kohler's got anything that he can do about Larry Tenforder. We're looking across at Dylan Pereira, and has driven what is effectively a perfect race. He started on pole position, he defended into the first corner, and really no one else has had a look in ever since. It's Dylan Pereira, who was very much in the shadow of his teammates Mikael Ammermuller and Julian Andlauer last year, and this year really has matured as a driver. Picked up his first win in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany yesterday. And here he comes for the last time around turn 13. He's just got this little bit of hill to do, keep it on the track, and then up towards turn 14. Don't go too wide, very cautiously round that final corner. And he can see the checkered flag in front of him, and it's Dylan Pereira who wins race 3 for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at the Sachenring. Larry Tenforder holding off Leon Kohler, with Julian Hanses crossing the line as the leading rookie ahead of Lauren Heinrich. So an absolutely solid drive from Dylan Pereira and for Fork Racing. And you can see the team delighted. And the marshals, who have done a wonderful job all weekend, and after every race have stood at the side of the track and waved their flags. And how good does that look? And Dylan Pereira, utterly delighted to have taken that win, and waves to the crowd. And how good is it to see the crowd as well? We've had up to 6,000 people each day been allowed into the Sachenring, which is wonderful news. And they witnessed Dylan Pereira take 2 out of 3 races this weekend. And you look at the championship, and it's very rapidly developing into what feels like a 3-horse race, but the season is young. We've still got plenty more racing to go as we look again at Dylan Pereira taking that checkered flag. But very much the prime championship contenders, this man here, Dylan Pereira, and Larry Tenforder and Leon Kohler, who will be kicking himself after that mistake in the last race that saw him robbed of a podium position. And he got dropped down the field as a result of a penalty, down to P7, having crossed the line in 3rd. And now drivers just picking up rubber, getting the weight of the car absolutely right as they go offline and head back to Parc Fermé. And very, very shortly, we will bring you the podium, which will be Dylan Pereira on the top step, and Larry Tenforder second, with Leon Kohler 3rd. So great racing from the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at the Sachsenring. That man there, Dylan Pereira, makes it 2 out of 3 and a second place in the other race. Not bad for a weekend's work, just 1 position away from a clean sweep. And Larry Tenforder has seen his championship lead nibbled away slightly, but he is still yet to finish a race this year lower than second place. There's a hint of deja vu there, because that's exactly how he started the season last year in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. But then, as the season progressed, he fell back into the clutches of his opponents. But looking very strong this year is Larry Tenforder, and he came into this very much the championship favourite. Dylan Pereira moving to Fork Racing. He was in the BWT Lechner team last year, and BWT Lechner, of course, have moved over to Porsche Carrera Cup France for this year and a new challenge. So Dylan Pereira jumping on board with Fork Racing and moving them to the top of the team championship. So out of the cars, the drivers come on the scales. Everything is weighed. And Leon Kohler just jumping off the scales. The local team, T3 HRT Motorsport, and they will be delighted to have got yet another podium on this, their home turf. They're from just up the road in Chemnitz. And from Luxembourg, Larry Tenforder. There's the classification. And you can see there it's Pereira, Tenforder and Kohler. And then Julian Hanses and Lauren Heinrich taking the 1-2 in the Rookie Championship. Joey Mawson, after a fairly lively race, came home in 6th place ahead of Rudy van Buren and Tony Wolff. And then Kay van Berlo, Carlos Rivas, the leading pro-am driver, ahead of Matthias Jeserik, Stefan Raykopf and Georgi Donchev. And then Diego Bertinelli, Felix Neuhofer and Lucas Ertl, all either not finishing or finishing a lap down. And Diego Bertinelli kicking himself from that earlier problem. And we'll come back to do it all again next time round, which will be at the Red Bull Ring. You can see our 3rd place driver there for T3 HRT Motorsport. It's Leon Kohler. 2nd place for Nebulous Racing by Huber, Larry Tenforder. And our winner, Dylan Pereira, for Fork Racing, the Luxembourg driver, taking 2 out of 3 wins here at Sachenring this weekend. So thoroughly entertaining from all of these drivers. You can see the sun setting, and you can see the points championship. 11 points is the lead that Larry Tenforder has, which can be won or lost in an instant. Dylan Pereira 2nd in the points ahead of Leon Kohler and Julian Hanses. So very, very close at the top of the points. And may I remind you, it's 25 points for a win. So the top of the points, very volatile indeed. And Larry Tenforder not running away with it as some thought that he might. So you can see that beautiful view. It has been such a lovely day here in the Sachsenring. The sun has shone all weekend. And this is one final podium before we pack it all up and head to the Red Bull Ring. And I'll remind you that is in 2 weeks' time, the 16th to the 18th of October. I saw some pictures from the region of Spielberg last week, and there was snow on the ground. So who knows what we might see when we get there in a couple of weeks' time. Here comes the 3rd place man. It's Leon Kohler. And here comes any second now. 2nd place. And it will be, of course, Larry Tenforder. And then here comes our winner. He will be very happy with that. He's only dropped 1 place all weekend, 1 step away from a clean sweep. The winner of race 3 of the weekend and race 4 of the season for Fork Racing, it's Dylan Pereira. And here comes a representative from Fork Racing as well. And now the national anthem. So the national anthem done. So from Luxembourg is Dylan Pereira. The very wide podium to help the drivers observe social distancing. And Leon Kohler picking up his trophy for third. T3 Motorsport looking on. And Larry ten Voorde picks up his trophy for second, and some lovely trophies. And all three of these drivers taking home at least one trophy. And in the case of first and second, taking home 3 trophies between them. And Dylan Pereira, his third trophy of the weekend, and another win for him. The fight really is on for this championship, isn't it? The Porsche Carrera Cup Germany Championship, although we're a little shorter on cars compared to what we were used to as a result of the global situation, is no less of a fight, and this is probably going to go all the way down to the wire as the champagne is sprayed and the celebrations start. We reflect on what has been an excellent weekend here. 3 races in the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany here at the Sachenring, and in a fortnight's time we're off to the Red Bull Ring for 3 more races, and then it's Zandvoort, and then it's Oschersleben, and that will be at the beginning of November. Who will be the champion? Larry ten Voorde looking strong, Dylan Pereira looking strong, Leon Kohler looking strong. The only way to find out is to join us. We're going to be at the Red Bull Ring on the 16th to the 18th of October. Please join us then. Thank you for being here at the Sachenring. We'll see you in a fortnight. Bye-bye.